Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly comic book roundup. We've got a decently sized haul, so let's kick things off with Miss Marvel of New Mutant number 4, wrapping up the miniseries. Where we left off, Kamala's location had been pinpointed by Orcus, and a Star Sentinel had been sent, to take care of the mutant menace. So the issue opens. Miss Marvel realizing that, she's having basically just woken up from her dealing with her subconscious. She suits up while Bruno tries to figure out a way to stop the Star Sentinel. And also explains to her about the nanite that he found. So, Miss Marvel does what she can against the Star Sentinel, in part pointing out the fact that the Star Sentinel might have Tony Stark's aesthetic, but it doesn't have his brains. And as she manages to shoot itself in the face. But she also discovers that when she shrinks, she's too small for their sensors. But Bruno was able to convince some of the students that maybe Miss Marvel isn't a menace, and that they should help her. And so they make a small fusion reactor, jury-rigging it together, which Bruno passes on to Miss Marvel, telling her that it has to go on the chest repulsor at just the right moment. She gets it on there, and it wrecks the Star Sentinel almost completely. A few more show up. Also, the Orcus lab underneath the school has been revealed. Ms. Marvel talks with Omega Sentinel, with Omega Sentinel basically saying, that she's going to spend the rest of her life looking over her shoulder. But she goes to talk to the X-Men, tell them what happened. Sync, Talon, and Rasputin are, hey, good job. Whereas Kate is, like, oh, okay, guess you did good. But Kate tries to give her a high five, or Kamala tries to give Kate a high five, and Kate phases, but Kamala states that Kate owes her a high five. Later, Omega Sentinel gets in touch with Nick Gaia, the scientist who had been working with her at the ESU campus, basically wondering, she did so much to find Miss Marvel, why not, that it seems like, but it still seems that Gaia went easy on her. Though Gaia explains that, first figure out, gather data, then, once data has been gathered, then go for the kill. Why crush a caterpillar before you get to see its butterfly wings, after all? Later, at the Hellfire Club, Emma manages to get Kamala, basically fix up Kamala, get her a new costume. It's basically a repaired costume, but yeah. Also, as Emma puts it, a mutual wall crawling friend delivered a bangle to them recently, saying it was Miss Marvel's, and so Miss Marvel has her bangle back. But basically, she didn't continue being, mutant, inhuman, Avenger, X-Men champion, but also Kamala Khan. And that is where the series ends. This is a good book. I imagine we will be seeing quite a bit more of Miss Marvel in X books to come. she is she does kind of fall into that category currently of so hot right now. So, moving on though to our next book, we've got Realm of X #4, also wrapping things up. So, where we left off, Magic had managed to track down Curse and convince her that and convince her to see the truth that she's being manipulated by Saturnine, and so Curse has turned on Saturnine, including managing to dispel the veil around Vanaheim, enabling Sif to now see what's going on in Vanaheim, as well as that Magic is tapping into, well, darker magics. She informs Thor of this. Curse and Saturnine argue it out, and Curse discovers basically a glass jar within Saturnine's chamber, realizing it's dust, and then frees her. But Saturnine decides she's going to destroy the realm of Vanaheim and use the power of its destruction to fuel her needs. Meanwhile, the people of Vanaheim march to battle. Saturnine's forces come in pretty heavily. Curse and Magic find the source of the realm's energy, and try to figure out what they need to do with it, including the fact that it's hidden, and it must have been hidden for a reason. Saturnine's legions proved to be somewhat a little overwhelming, but everyone is reunited. However, unexpected reinforcements arrive in the form of, well, the All-Father Thor, as well as his mother, Freyr's daughter, who is a native of Vanaheim. Curse tries to think what she can do to try to find something she can potentially do to turn the tide of the battle, and basically says that as a Curse, wouldn't it be cool if Magic got what Saturnine wants? And so Magic is able to reunite the energy of Vanaheim with the realm. While she cannot return the dead to life, she can bring new life where it was just recently death. Saturnine leaves and thinking that Magic returning the energy of the realm to the realm itself is foolish, but, well, yeah. Curse gets to hang out with Thor and Freya. Freya informs the X-Men what's been going on on Earth in their absence, and the series ends with our sextet of X-Men being sent back to Earth by a Bifrost. This is also pretty good. It did feel a bit less connected to the other Fall of X books, just because of it being not on Earth, or basically the fact that it was more of a fantasy story than the usual bare minimum sci-fi adjacent, straight up sci-fi books that have been dominating realm of or Fall of X. Otherwise, it was a good series. Moving on to our next book, we've got X-Men Blue Origins. So this was quite the this generated a lot of buzz this week. So in Uncanny Spider-Man number 4, before Nightcrawler turned himself over to Orcus, he caught up with Mystique, and apparently they talked. This one shot contains their talk. Begins with the Hellfire Gala and Mystique running away. She ran from the gala, ended up at, near the island of Mikey's, and then made her way out to an Orcus ship and proceeded to kill the crew. Though the mental break she was having, that she's been having throughout Uncanny Spider-Man, is still affecting her, or is already affecting her at that point. But Kurt tries to talk to her, and there are bits of information. You know, initially, it was believed that Kurt's father was Baron Christian Wagner, and whose wife Mystique had taken the form of. Then that also that she had an affair with the mutant Azazel. It was also pointed out, apparently during this time also, a maid at the house was none other than Destiny. And then running from the villagers with torches in the woods, she set down baby Kurt. But why? But was perhaps to save Destiny? Nightcrawler makes his hope sword become manifest, and Mystique takes hold of it, and everything is returned. So basically, we learn a bit more about the relationship between Raven and Irene. There were points where Irene was very distant, largely because of her visions, and well, Raven's not you generally want to stay still. So, but they had an agreement that the two of them would take lovers, but generally speaking, those lovers would be beneficial for them. And there came a point when Irene, as a maid of the Wagner household, told Raven that they wanted to have a family. Or she wanted to have a family with Raven. They explained that they made a baby. Of course, the baby was Kurt. There's a write-up by Dr. Nemesis about Mystique, explaining that calling Mystique a shapeshifter is being extraordinarily reductive because that's a small part of what she can do. Turns out it's more along the lines of gene shifting. She can simply put, the best way to describe it would be, it's similar to what a to the degree of shapeshifting a Skrull has. But even still, it goes further beyond that, adding that there's not an intelligence that can do what Mystique does consciously, and what she does when she changes her shape, or when she takes on a new form or whatnot. It's almost instinct. It's basically kind of a become this, and then everything becomes that, not just. And there's a comment made about Omega mutants and whatnot, namely that apparently Dr. Nemesis doesn't think much of the Omega level mutant concept, and the only thing that would truly keep Mystique from doing so is the fact that she cannot replicate other mutant gifts when taking on the shape of, when taking on the form of another mutant. But Baron Wagner was killed by Raven upon the Baron discovering Raven and Irene. But Kurt was born of Irene, and thought dead because he was blue. And Raven pretty much destroyed their cover right then by taking her true form to be the first thing that her son saw. And so, of course, they ran into the woods, Mystique ran into the woods with Kurt. Then went back for Irene because it seemed that the villagers who'd been chasing her had returned to the castle. She got back, found Destiny gone, went to where she hid Kurt, found Kurt gone, and wandered for a while, and eventually they were reunited, and Mystique was 5 years later they were reunited, and Mystique was understandably angry at Irene and quite close to killing her. Where was it that they were reunited? You might ask. Caldecott County, Mississippi. Irene was on a park bench, and on the playground of said park was a young runaway, Anna Maria, or as she's better known now, Rogue. And so, they took Rogue in, but, there was still the lingering memories of everything, and turns out that Mystique had a vision of Azazel basically taking over, doing, big bad guy shit and succeeding. And so the idea was, well, if he's got a child, there's a child he thinks is his, maybe that might, maybe neuter his bad guy shit. And it did. But Raven and Irene went to Xavier and had him remove Mystique's memories of what happened. Though he does point out that the mind often has a way of creating something in the place of what's been removed. But Kurt and Raven are truly reunited just before Kurt turns himself into Orcus. And that is where the issue ends. Now this was actually, this was really neat. I liked it. I honestly, I dug the explanation of just what it is, how, what what it is exactly that Mystique does. That was interesting. I mean, I think we all kind of thought of Mystique just being a shapeshifter, that she's able to get by simply, you know, changing the pigment of her skin. But apparently, there's a little more behind it. Apparently the idea of Nightcrawler being the son of Raven of Destiny and Mystique was intended by Chris Claremont back during his run on the X-Men back in the 70s through 90s, mid 70s, early 90s. However, uh, due to the Comics Code Authority, Marvel was like, yeah, no, 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 no. But so I was like, okay, fine, I won't write, but I'll write. I'm going to write as though that was the case. Basically, though, because it wasn't explicitly said, it was kind of okay, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, very interesting stuff, and honestly, just really well written. I I appreciate the fact that over the last few decades, since Marvel has definitively said that yes, Mystique is uh, Nightcrawler's mother, that there has been an effort to try and on largely on Mystique's on both Mystique's side of things and as well as Nightcrawler's side of things to reconcile the two of them. You more often than not it's more a case of they reconcile briefly and then Mystique does something does something that causes characters like, of course I had to trust my mother. Ugh. But yeah, the Krakoan age has, to a point, I would say, been real good about not having those moments of, Kurt's like, ah, yes, well, I'm a bit more accepting of Mystique as my mom, and just kind of sticking with it. He's more accepting of it, of the fact that Mystique is his mother. But anyways, moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Predator versus Wolverine, number 3. Where we left off in the present, Wolverine was at the bottom of a lake in Canada with a lot of debris on top of him. In the past, while being turned into Weapon X by the Weapon X Project, the Yautja showed up. And so, in the present, Wolverine manages to make his escape, managing to evade the Yautja. In the past, the Yautja has found Wolverine and at least and studies looks at the readouts of what's being done, cuts him open and realizes that his skeleton is now made of metal, making Wolverine quite the unique trophy. Wolverine wakes up. I imagine having part of your rib cage, basically part of your body flayed open. It will override pretty much the strongest of sedatives. But the Yautja manages to basically spray some acid into Wolverine's mouth, melting away the flesh around Wolverine's head. And so the Yautja takes Logan back to his ship with the intention of removing his skull and adding that to his trophies. But, a couple F-16s show up. Weapon X was, after all, a joint project between the Canadian and U.S. governments. Fire on the Yautja ship. He tries to escape. Wolverine wakes up during this while his the muscle and flesh of his skull is reforming, and cuts a hole as the ship reaches the atmosphere. Cuts a hole in the Wolverine cuts a hole in the ship's hull and falls back to Earth. When Wolverine was found, apparently also found with him, was the Yautja's helmet, which was apparently utilized as which was the basis for the VR helmet that Wolverine wore as Weapon X. A week prior to the present portions, Wolverine was in the basically went through the old Weapon X outpost, found the Yautja helmet, and figured, okay, time to put this this hunt on my terms. So went back to where it all started, and basically summoned the Yautja basically with by having his helmet. Also, back during Wolverine's time in Japan, setting under Muramasa, after a sparring match between Logan and Muramasa, detected that there's something there. The Yautja has shown up for Wolverine once again. And that is where the issue ends. I kind of like the idea that of making the Yautja an integral part of this particular timeline's Weapon X project. Really digging the book overall. But anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.